All right. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope everyone had a great week. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit, but we'll keep some background music going. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. Tonight, we have a little different playlist. I usually do a lo-fi, chill beats kind of vibe. We got a playlist on Spotify called POV. You're in an 80s film driving at night. Sort of a retro wave kind of style. It's pretty chill. It's pretty cool. I like it. Hope you guys like it. Anyway, tonight, what I want to talk about is first off, the last week of trading. Just very briefly touch on that. And then a I guess concept that ICT threw out there the other day. And I guess he hints at this a lot and he's pointed it out a lot, and I guess it finally just clicked a little bit for me today when I saw a move that was made. So I want to go back through the charts and see how often this happens. The concept is the general concept is that there are separate sessions, right? Obviously, everyone knows that's true. We have, they don't really care about the difference between like Tokyo and Sydney, but the Asian session, a break, then the London session. Now, I'll get into why these don't all blend into one, because technically they do, but there are specific portions of these sessions that you want to split out. Okay, so, and ICT goes over this. So what I want to do is draw out these sessions on the chart and see how often there are consolidation periods in between the sessions and how often the sessions go to get the liquidities from the consolidation periods. And we're going to try to use that as a way to target, in ICT's latest video, he talked a lot about people asking him, well, how do you know it's going to this level? How do you know this one? Like, there's this high. Like, look at the chart right here, right? So this was today's trading, this section I'm hovering over right there. So how do you know that it wants to get to this high and not to this high, right? And I think this idea of sessions is important. All right, so we're going to use one indicator on TradingView that will help us split the sessions up. And then we're going to go back through. We're going to see how often this happens. I haven't decided whether I want to use the replay functionality yet or not. We certainly could. I definitely have decided that I want to use 15-minute time frame. I think that's, he always talks about how that's his bellwether time frame. I would agree. I think it's what I rely on most for a sense of direction. That and the 5-minute combined. But the 15-minute really gets you a really good idea of where we're going, especially when we're talking about this session idea, this session concept. So to start out, let's get our sessions visible, and we'll do that with an indicator called Sessions on Chart by All Rocks AIF. There are other session ones, like there's this Lux Algo one. The reason why I liked this one the best, and you'll see when it comes up, it's very configurable and it's very subtle. You know, it just highlights it with a different color, and it's all configurable with what color you want. And you'll see here, this is my default settings, and these are the colors that I like. I think I want to do lunch a little differently because it's sort of hard to tell. But we'll go into what all of these mean. All right, so sessions. Hit the little settings button on this indicator, and you'll see it has 4 sessions that are configurable for the time. Now, these times are not the defaults that it comes with when you first add sessions. These times are what ICT defines as the sessions. So I go based off what he goes with. There's one difference here. So I reuse Sydney session for the New York lunch session. Okay. So Sydney session is actually New York lunch session, 12 o'clock to 1:30. London session is what ICT calls the London kill zone, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern time. This is all Eastern time, by the way. All Eastern time. Time zone. Yeah, it's all New York. New York time, Eastern time. Make sure you pick New York. So London session is the ICT London kill zone. New York session is the New York morning session, 9:30 to 12. Tokyo session is the Asian kill zone, which is 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And you'll see most of the time that's pretty meh, but sometimes it has some movement. And like I said, we reuse Sydney session to be the New York lunch session, which is noon, 12 o'clock noon to 1:30. For the styling, you know, you can go down here and you can change how all of these look. Just feel free to take a screenshot. The background color is the most important thing. Like I said, I think I'm gonna change this one because it's a little hard to see. I want to do this purple, but I want a little more easy to see. I don't think I use this stuff, this plot stuff. I think that's part of, yeah, I don't know. Did I take that off? No. Anyway, there's my my settings for the sessions. The other indicator I have on is the fair value gap nephew Sam. There are other fair value gap indicators. Use whichever one you like. I like to have the fair value gaps visible. I'm just a little helper, you know. To each his own. If you want them on there or not, you can see without them. It's pretty easy to see the fair value gaps still anyway, but like this one, it's nice because we got wicks outside and stuff. It also helps, you know, with targeting and stuff like that. So that's the indicators. So let's go back over the goal for tonight. And we'll go over what happened today. And then I think we'll jump into the replay feature and we can see how often it sort of holds up to do it in days that we don't know. We don't have a hindsight for. Okay, so today, right? Here's the overnight. So you'll notice there's gaps in the sessions. So what we have is Asian dealing range, right? Like the range that most of the action happens. That's really what you want to highlight. And then the in between is sort of like off peak hours, right? After hours, pre-market, stuff like that. You could call this pre-market London, right? London kill zone. This is when most of the action happens in London. Now, let's look at this full 24-hour period of what happened post-market, pre-market, the different sessions, and the idea behind this concept. So we had New York lunch to PM and then post-market, right? We had a run up. Asian, the main action of the Asian trading went and took sell side from the afternoon New York. It'd probably be helpful to put another session thing on the afternoon of New York. Maybe I could do that with this, and then I could know in between his lunch. Just an idea. But it took that, which is technically, because to 1:30 is lunch, right? So that's technically the low of the afternoon session of London, or of New York. So it took that, right? Now the in-between, you could call this pre-market London or afternoon Asia, went and took lunch lows as well. These are untaken liquidity levels, right? The low here, and then the low here. Actually, it's technically the low here. We have this whole area here, but you could say there's some equal lows here, some liquidity there, right? And I think you can get what I'm sort of hinting at here. Now you might say, okay, well then, but we have these highs. Why did it never go and sweep these highs? Well, I don't think they're important. I think the structure is bearish. The recent structure has been bearish. It doesn't need to get more to go down. Like, it's not much liquidity up there, right? We had this a couple days ago. You know, obviously it could go get that, but I think that would do a little more to the bearish structure than it would want to do. Okay, so Asia takes New York afternoon low. The pre-market makes one more move down and grabs lunch lows, right? Grabs lunch lows. So there's liquidity taken, right? So we've had two lows taken. We have a high from Asia that's left open. We have a high from pre-market that's open. So what does London kill zone do? London goes up, takes high from this session. Now, this, I think, is the important thing. When you say, well, why does it only grab this and not this or this? You know, there's other, and if you go to lower time frames, I'm sure there's other little levels of liquidity. Yeah, I think what we want to focus on is each session first going for liquidity levels of the prior consolidation period, right? And if we're bearish, which we are for this structure, you could say it's grabbing this to go down on a further out, the further out sessions will want to go down, right? But first move it does sweeps high of previous session. Now, it's not really a session, it's the in-between, the consolidation period, which just took a low, right? So we get high, then we get lows from that session, and not only that, we get these equals here. And that's done for London. You could target this on London, right? And it wouldn't be terrible. But London did more of a consolidation move after just sweeping the most recent liquidity, right? We had a pretty good drop down here. So that sort of makes sense that it's consolidating. Now we get into the afternoon of London, quote unquote, or the outside of the kill zone, outside of the more impactful session of London, and we get into pre-market New York. So what does pre-market New York do? Well, it's first off, it goes and grabs a liquidity level for the previous session, and then it goes for the lows of that. Doesn't stop there, it goes for equal lows here. So we've now taken all of these previous session buy side and sell side. So we're set to basically, I mean, this is a good indication that we're going to have a little bit of a choppy morning, right? We've taken highs, 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 lows, 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 cleaned up all that, continued down, cleaned up all of this, and we even took, if you look back far enough, we came just shy of taking this low, but we took a little bit from the wick here, right? You could say half the wick. I'm not going to draw it out because I'm more interested in just following the idea of, okay, we're going to start with internal. We're going to start with the previous session liquidity and then look outward. All right, previous session liquidity, then we look outward. Doesn't get it. So when it starts failing to push lower, and you say, where would it go, right? Starts going up. Well, what's left? What's left to grab? The buy side left open from the previous session. So we get into New York, and New York makes a little tiny push down when it first starts. But mainly, it's starting an upward move, right? Makes sense. We've gotten a lot of sell side overnight. Where's it going to stop? Previous session. This is the, I mean, this is like the 80% takeoff target, right? So if you're here, you get in, let's say you get in here, like there, I'm sure there was some fair value gap setup or something like that from these levels. It was very choppy, so it was a tough play. But let's say you get in when it comes back down from a move up and you want to target some liquidity. Obviously, you're going to target this as your low-hanging fruit, right? Your first one. Very close internal liquidity. And then the next one would be this high. So it comes up, it has a tough time, but it eventually does get that. Now it has a tough time because we are in a bearish shift. I don't know how long it's going to be a bearish shift. I don't know if it's actually a break back to bearish. because we were in a very bullish mood before this. But it is at least a retracement. And we got further to go. So we grab that liquidity, tough to get to, and it sells off quick. That's all it wanted, right? It had left open the buy side here, here. So when we're bearish and we got a very difficult move up, that first level of liquidity in the prior session is what we should, that's our big target. Now, we also want to look at New York session versus lunch session versus afternoon session, right? They should also look at the previous session liquidity, right? This one, previous session liquidity. What does it do immediately? First thing it does, it grabs the sell side liquidity of the previous session immediately. Now, it wasn't very far away, but it still did it. Still went down, right? That's its trigger to go up and get the high from that session as well. Lunch, so it isn't able to do it here. Lunch finishes the move. So then what does the afternoon have in store? Well, the leftover liquidity that it left behind to make this move to get the previous session high. It grabs that, gets previous session lunch low, so in PM, previous session lunch lows. That's the first target. Next target would be the session before that. Since lunch didn't go get it, we got to go get it. And then it finishes the first thought of New York, and actually probably this, that failed. And it grabs that low over here and this low over here. These are big, big, big levels. You see that? See how many days that has been open for? So now it's spent. Makes a little push up. That's natural, right? We're at the end of the day. We've taken all the liquidity we needed to take. And we do a little start of some consolidation waves, right? So that makes sense as well. Obviously, you could play that if you want. You know, there's many ways to play that. You can play the sweeps of the liquidities. The tough part about this is sometimes this happens, right? Where you would say, well, why the hell didn't it grab the previous low of the day? Well, it needed some buy side. We hadn't taken it for a while. You know, last session that took it was this. This one took a very recent one, but not the big one here. It's gone down again. Took very recent lows and said, we need some buy side to make the final push down to that big sell side target. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. You know, obviously this is very new, running through my head right now. So the point of these backtesting sessions, I'm not an expert, right? And I try to hopefully say that enough times. Do not try to look at me like I'm going to give you the keys to unlock the market and, you know, become a millionaire tomorrow. No, this is my learning journey, and I just, you know, want to document this for myself, and hopefully others can enjoy it and get some knowledge. So I'm working this out, right? So any thoughts, comments would be appreciated. Just try to help me work this out. But I think this is a really good idea, and let's dig into it a little bit. All right, now that we got a baseline of what we're looking for, what I want to do is go into some replay. And what we'll do is we'll go with the daily chart. Now this is, you see I got some executions. Let me hide those. This is the ES continuous contract. You'll see here's like a contract shift or a merge or whatever. So we'll try to avoid those times. It really doesn't matter. Oh, looks like I had a little line here. Oh, that was our low. Really doesn't matter where we look at. I think this, it doesn't matter if it's a consolidation period or, you know, some run. I'm sure there is a difference, but I don't really care. I think this run probably looks as good as any. So we can look through a couple days over here. So what we'll do is I'll just sort of close my eyes and I'll go back and forth and I'll click somewhere. All right, and hopefully that's cut it off a little bit. All right, so here we are. We stopped it on April 24th, 2023. What I'm going to do is go back to the 15-minute. So it actually stops it at the end of the day. So we'll be looking at April 25th. On another monitor, I'm going to pull up the economic calendar just to make sure we have all of our information that we would normally have. Every day you should be knowing what your calendar looks like. 1 second, I'm going to take my headphones off. Okay, sorry about that. So your economic calendar is very important. You should always know what that looks like for the upcoming day. So we're going to be starting trading on Tuesday the 25th. I'll go ahead and pull up that week. So Tuesday we actually have a 10 a.m. new home sales event. So we'll just want to keep that in mind. Wednesday, we have little tiny things no one cares about. And Thursday, we have initial jobless claims and GDP number, which I think is decently important. It doesn't really matter. It's just an injection of volatility. We'll see how that plays out. We will try to trade and see what we can do. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to play through, and what we'll do is we'll try to trade like we would at, you know, start of New York. So we'll observe other times, right? Okay, Asia's starting, right? Let's just see what happened yesterday. So we had a London and pre-market New York pump, super pump. And then we cleaned up a bunch of buy side with the beginning New York session, pump up, and then what happens next? We got to go get some sell side, huh? We went and got some sell side from pre-market. You see this? How it didn't dip into this one because that's not the previous session. It's saving it for later. Okay, so we're back in Asia. It's actually looks to be a little bit of a shift in market structure on a higher time frame. Yeah, we just got back to order block there, huh? Good 15-minute order block there. Pump, push up, drop back down into that order block. That looks to be like probably a golden entry point. It's actually beyond that. It's at optimal trade entry, 0.79. So that's a very healthy retrace, huh? We can actually go do it from there. Right in the pocket there, right on the order block. So 15-minute usually tells you a pretty good story. All right. So the first thing that Asia does, and I'm not going to try to trade this because I want all of the information, but we'll guess. We'll guess here. First thing that Asia does is grab very recent sell side activity from the after hours New York session, right? So I'm guessing it's gonna probably go and maybe take these highs as well. Actually, it did take those highs first and it's going down, so looks like it might be going down a little bit. Let's see how this plays out. If it were to grab the lows from the previous session, it would want to grab these. So we'll just keep that in mind. And you know, let's this is all for fun. Let's try to bet on it. Let's bet that it took it didn't take highs from that session. I don't like that bet. I'm not taking that bet. Let's just move forward. So it took very recent lows. So yeah, it's mainly a consolidation period so far. Oh, is it gonna take those lows? It sure did. Wow, that would have been a very successful trade, huh? So it took very recent highs as the first move, and then it went down to take previous session lows, internal to external. Now we're on to the pre-market London, aka after hours Asia, and it's still making moves. So the next sell side it would want is obviously this one, right? Now this one grabbed sell side from previous session. The regular Asian range grabbed sell side from previous session. So do we think that this pre-market will also grab sell side from the previous one? I'm going to say no, that it's going to stop shy. That's my guess. But let's see how it plays out. Now, London comes in at 3. Let's keep that in mind. It's right there. Let's put a horizontal line in there. Or sorry, vertical line in there. So Asia is still working. So Asia post-market, pre-market, London. And it has put in a pretty strong displacement and potential reversal here. I'm not going to take this. I'll wait for 3 a.m. because I'm betting we sweep lows a little bit here, huh? That was a good hold up on the order block there. Now we are coming up on it. And let's see what London does first thing. Straight away, we go for sell side. Now it looks like it is going to finish that move to pull this. So this is our target, right? So we want to sell. Here's the problem. I think this next 15-minute candle is going to take that and reverse course. But let's go ahead and sell here. Let's go to the next one. Okay. So we just swept. I'm going to flatten. I'm going to call that good. I just wanted the previous liquidity. So that's $175. Pretty good. Obviously, this is a 15-minute candle. You would want entries on a lower time frame, so you'd get much more profit than that. But you get the idea. So at this point, we've taken this big liquidity level, this big liquidity level. We're back within an order block. So the question is, does it want to take that much more important liquidity level right there. I would just be sitting and waiting for it. I wouldn't be trading off of it right now. This candle to me, it looks like London is going to go back up for highs, if I had to guess, but we'll see. I mean, it's a very quick session and it's very far away, so it could just be establishing, consolidating a little bit, establishing some more liquidity down here. Nope, it pulled them. Wow. That was a good push. All right, let's see what else we got for London. Okay, so what has London done? Let's go ahead and just move forward a couple more. This is the end. Do I not have this right? 3 o'clock to 5. I don't know why it's not really showing it, the whole thing. But resolution daily. Okay, that's fine. High low view. I don't even know what that means. Oh, it keeps the highs and lows. Right. Okay, so this is what London session did, right? So basically we have afternoon post going and very quickly sweeping some highs and then going lows, not getting high. I mean, we're way up here for the highs there. So what are we doing? We go lows again, and London goes lows again. So we have just collected a ton of lows. Let's see what the pre-market New York does. And we're going to go all the way to 930. So let's put a vertical line there. I'm going to guess a little bit of consolidation. It's been very eventful. And so just getting very recent liquidity levels, and took highs again. Once again, just very recent highs. Okay, so we're at 9. Let's do, so this next candle will show us a little bit into what New York is thinking. Okay, so this session is clear so far. So we have no direction. We have not taken highs. We have not taken lows. We have not taken highs or lows of those either. And what do we do first? We take lows of previous session. Okay. So the question is, does it continue on to London low? I say maybe. I wouldn't be playing this initial move. It does. So now we wait and see if there's going to be a reversal off of that. Nothing yet. We're at 10:45. You know, you're really looking for your reversals around, you know, you want 9:30, 9:45, and 10 o'clock to go for the liquidity levels. And that's what's going to really shape your first trade. At least this is how my first trade. That initial push, whichever way it goes, is going to shape how my first trade goes around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, 10, it's really 10 to 11 o'clock. This is the ICT Silver Bullet. He's talked about it a bunch lately, right? We should have gotten some healthy liquidity from previous sessions, potentially external liquidity, which we did not. We did pull some external liquidity here. So we even got some liquidity from way back here. So if we put in a potential reversal here, and I don't really love seeing it on the 15 minute at this point. I would really be looking at the 1 minute. Then we would target this first, this high, this high. So those are potentials. Let's see if we get a reversal here. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I would actually probably find an entry in here somewhere and buy, but let's go ahead and buy here. And we're going to go for this high and potentially this high. But first target is this high. 41.44.50. Let's see what we get. Oh, we get stopped out. We would have our stop under this level, right? So let's go ahead and flatten. So that would stop us out. It's really hard trading only the 15 minute. Man, we're getting a lot of sell side, huh? So now we're just watching. Just watching. Okay, lunch. We're into the lunch session. We're actually going for more sell side down here, huh? So let's pull a horizontal line there. See when and if we do get that. It looks like we hit just perfectly on it for lunch. And we triggered it. Perfect. Okay, so we are still within lunch. At this point, I'm probably just watching. It's going for these big liquidity levels. I mean, I really want to just focus on session by session moves here. So we're going to keep just chilling. Lots of external liquidity taken here. And we have a big shelf of it here, huh? Man, I picked the day before a huge drop. Wow. We are into afternoon. Very much into the afternoon here. We have a potential reversal here. I actually want to look at the 5 minute. I know I said I'm going to focus on 15 minute, but I need more info, man. Let's look at the 5 minute here. Let's start trying to get an entry. Okay, that one's killed. Yeah, not seeing anything really. We're at 3 o'clock. I think that was our move, just grabbing those big external liquidities, which makes sense, right? If we pull that much liquidity. Let's go back to 15 minute. That's a lot. So right at 4, it makes a little pump to pull very recent, not even previous session buy side. So today was not great. It was not a great day for us on trading. But it happens. It's going to happen. That's why we're backtesting. See if this makes any sense. All right. We're in the PM session, or after hours, New York, and we go into Asia. So as we're going into Asia, what did we want to see again? Sorry, I should have went into that first. So the first move was to grab very recent sell side, huh? I'm going to guess this probably goes up a little bit, but I'm not betting on too much. Just grab this maybe. That would be my target if I were in a trade on this. Just this one right here. 411625. I mean, it's very close. So we're into pre-market London. We just consolidated. We didn't even grab any buy side there. Let's do a vertical line here. 3 o'clock. We want to keep an eye on that. Are we gonna pull that or not? Let's keep an eye on this. I want to see when it pulls that. So now we are, so this drop, I mean, yeah, we have liquidity here. I think over the next couple days, it'll probably be working towards that liquidity, but what we're really focusing on is the very recent levels between sessions. So we're not going to worry about those anymore. Those will be future targets. What does London do first? It is going down. So let's look at these two levels to get a bearing of what's going to happen next. All right, so we did sweep this one. Let's play the game of turtle soup. And let's buy here. And we're just going to buy up until there. Now, when we're on an active trade, let's go 5-minute mode. Let's see what we can do. Oh, turtle soup was not good to us, huh? London's just going down. There we go, London. I want it to take some buy side someday. I don't know if it is. So we'll flatten this out because this clearly has hit our stop loss here at this point. So London's still grabbing, working within this, onto the order block there, and has not. So we have buy side open, very small sweep there. And I guess I should have paid a little more attention to that. We did have a sweep of the Asian range with this candle as the first move before that. So, yep, should have paid a little more attention to that because that was a little tip of the hat towards where London's going, right? This session grabbed previous session highs. This session first went lows, but wants to go lows of all of that. Yep. And even further down. All right, so London, we are on the 5-minute, and we have a very potential reversal here. This is a orders positions. I don't know. So what you can't see behind this is there's a swing high on this fair value gap. I'm actually going to take this as a buy. It could go down into this gap, but I like the confluence of a swing high and it breaking that and coming back into that gap. And I really prefer it hitting that, but it doesn't always happen, right? So I can't be too picky. Now, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for this high, I believe. That would be our, I mean, this would be our low-hanging fruit here, but I think this would be our target, like our 80% off target. And then this one here, which is very close, you might want to put that as your 80% target, but definitely runners, right? So here are our 3 target levels. No, I didn't pick these. I picked this. Current session high. Previous session high, because I don't think it cares. If it sweeps this, it's probably going to sweep these two. But I really think you need to be strict on your rules when you say current session high or next big liquidity in current session. Then you go to the previous one, then you go to the previous one, right? And that's how you're going to lay out your targets. That's how I'm predicting to lay out my targets, right? So let's move forward with this. Let's see what we got. So we're going to take, remember, we're going to take off. Oh, well, we only have one. But imagine we have 10 contracts or something. We'll take off like half here, 80%, all of it, right? Now we go down back into that. And what did we grab from this? Nothing really yet. We're going to keep this gap alive. And we are in the next session. So we might at this point say this is our full target there. Let's see where we go. Oof. Goes all the way back to that last one, huh? Now where is our 930? Okay, so we have another shift back down. We could be looking at more sell side. It's just getting bare minimum buy side right now, huh? Bare minimum. Just pulled this into this order block. And we're dinking around. Now this gap is holding. It's very early entry there. Very suboptimal entry, right? This optimal entry would be from that range right where it went to, right? So a little lesson in patience there. And then our stop loss is going to be this low. Let's see if it grabs it. Looks like it's going to. Yeah, there it goes. And we're out again. We're not doing good on this exercise. Oh, man. This thing is just not interested in buy side, huh? So it's just stacking them up. So we go back to the 15-minute, and what has it done? It's pulled this sell side. It's obviously pulled this as well. So we have a lot of stuff stacked up now, and this is where we'd be looking once again for a reversal. This doesn't fit any of our models yet. I would say that potentially does. But we're going to wait for the session start. So let's go all the way to session start here. Is there anything we could have learned from this? I mean, you could say that the first move was to get most recent highs of the previous session. Now, it didn't get the full high, so I don't love that. I think this is just probably not within our rule set if we were to define some rules based on this, and we wouldn't take a trade. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as that, right? Wednesday, I keep forgetting I need to look at the stinking economic calendar. All right, so we're heading into 9:30. So let's see what 9:30 does. 9:30 goes back into a bearish structure that came from taking some liquidity up here. So now we say, do we trust that, right? We've basically come down all night, not pulled any buy side, but we did have a little run up with a bearish entry. Let's look at, oh, we are on 5-minute. So what do we trust here? Well, I would say it hasn't swept anything, so I'm not going to do anything right now. Okay, so first move, we swept some liquidity from the previous session. The low. It's 9:45. I'm still chilling. Okay, 10 o'clock. We're entering silver bullet time. And silver bullet goes for more sell side. I think I remember this. I think that we have like a market maker sell model going on here. Oh, excuse me. But if that were the case, it would be going all the way down here. I don't think we are going all the way down there. That's so much crap right there. All right, April 26th. Yeah, we're still grabbing sell side, huh? These are just super strong days here. Okay. So the first time we've had a move the other way. Let's see how this looks on the 15-minute. This looks like a little bit of a sweep situation. And we're going to go for some highs. I keep saying that, huh? Okay, so yeah, let's go for it. This time let's bet 10 so that we can use some of our cutting, right? So what are we going to look at? Current session high as the target and previous session high as the full target. So let's try it. If this sucker oh shoot, I didn't hit the buy button. Sorry. Okay, are we going for current session high? Oh, looks like we might be. Okay. So technically low-hanging fruit would probably be here. So I want to take off 5. Oh. Wait. I want to take off 5 here. Oops. So let's take off 5. Okay. At this point, I think we take off 2 more. And we'll leave 3 running. All right. Actually, it should be 3 more. We'll leave 2 running. 80%. So did we hit it? No. We gotta see it hit. Okay, it hit. So we'll sell 3 more. And then we leave 2 runners to try to go for those. Finally, a successful trade, huh? Okay, did we sweep the first liquidity level? I really don't like these labels. Executions off. I think this is a replay mode setting. Anyway. So we are looking for this to hit. We just have 2 runners and we're just going to let them run as far as we can. We're going to use like an order block to invalidate the trade. And I'd want to do it on the 1 minute if I'm being very honest about this. Oh, I don't have 1 minute. Shoot. Did I just lose everything? Oh boy. Yeah, I'm back in June. Fuck me. I just lost my trade too. You bastard. Okay, well that sucks. How do I go? Does anyone know how to like go back? Can I go back? Here I am confused. 1 minute. No, I can't go back anymore. I've lost it. Shit, well that really sucks, man. That really sucks. I had a good trade going there. Yeah, I was well, we can get an idea of what happened. Here it is. It pulled that next liquidity level. And it reversed. So we can kill those off. Let's just look through the chart since replay mode screwed me there. And we'll look for that concept. We'll just go through the next couple days here and look for that concept of sweeping the previous session and see how well that works out. I would really like to do it more on the New York session, looking on the New York session, but yeah, let's take a look. So that reversal, obviously it cleaned up the lows from the main New York session, the AM New York session. And we had PM do not much, right? Well, technically the PM did that, right? So we got a liquidity level up here. It's ready to go. And then we have, this is the high and this is the low to that one. So we took that out. I mean, first off, it took very recent sell side and then took previous session buy side. All right. And we're into consolidation. Okay, we start trading here. What does it do? Grab some sell side from the previous session first. And then, I mean, really more consolidation. This is a lot of consolidation. Looks like we had a news event here on Thursday. Is that true? Yeah, we had initial jobless claims at 8:30. So if we want to see what happened there, we'd have to go on the smaller time frames. But it looks like it went up first and then down. And then came back to close. That'd be my guess. Very well could have, with a news thing, it could have went up. Or, sorry, it could have came down, went up, and then came back down. Definitely could have happened. But it looks like it grabbed previous session high first. Or sorry, current session high, current session low. And now it's continuing its work. New York, what does it do? First move it makes, it pulls very immediate lows from previous session. Then goes previous session high. This big high. And it continues to sweep up. Remember how we said we had a lot of leftover buy side? Well, look what it does. It gets all of it. All of it. And this is on Thursday, a day after. Oh, sorry. We went through like a full freaking session, didn't we? No. This is Thursday, right? This is Thursday where we had GDP and initial jobless claims, which created this craziness. But after that, I mean, it's just using that as an excuse to kick off the move. Now, what we could do here is try to do a projection tool based off the move here. So there's a fib that will give you a projection based on a swing in price. Usually use a swing in price. So we had a swing in price up and then down. That's the assumption before it started the move. So you could use that to kind of take a shot at what would be the liquidity in these different levels. The optimal level is between this -2 and -2.5. So that would be a huge target right there. That's a big one. Now these ones up here, obviously it takes them. It actually takes them at the very end of the day, the last candle, the 4 o'clock candle. So you wouldn't really bet on that. You could do a runner up there, right? But obviously this was a lot of buy side that was left off. As we were going through, we kept seeing that, right? Well, left this buy side, left this buy side, left this buy side from the previous session. So on those strong moves, I mean, that's tough. That's tough to use previous session, but I think you need to think about the current market condition. And this seems to be, obviously will be good to get targets with, even on a big run. But when you're looking at just previous session, especially for a target after a sweep and it's running somewhere, you're really looking at a consolidation, like maybe a choppier market, right? Not a smooth flowing market. This smooth flowing market here, it's pulling all this, pulled all that buy side, pulled all that sell side. It's leaving a lot open, right? This is open, this is open. These are previous session things where the next session never grabbed it, right? It didn't even grab this consolidation before going down, right? So I would say just using sessions and sweeps is tough. It's a tough one. It seems to be on a very, very specific market that you could rely on it for advanced targeting, you know. Yeah, a lot of this is just okay, it pulls high. No, I mean, it makes sense still. Like, let's go into this consolidation looking market, right? So it pulls highs first and then goes down and takes lows. Now London comes in and it tries to go up a little bit, but it's already in this move and keeps going lower. Now this is the tricky part. You're in a post a really big move. So what are you targeting here? I would honestly say, so we're looking at previous session. I would honestly say like this, right? So it comes a little shy. It actually comes, dude, why does it do that? It took me back to June. This thing, man. I don't even know where we were. I'll know it by the structure. Why doesn't it just keep me where I was? I think we were in April. I don't like that. Oh, it doesn't keep you where you were. Okay, here it is, April 28th. So you'd look at this session low, right? But let's put this on here so we can go into a 5 minute. Come back to it. since it's gonna just flip and do that to me. Let's put something on there so we can get back to it. There we go. We're not even seeing that far back. Are you kidding me? That's why. It wasn't even on the chart. Guess I need to shell out some more money for that, huh? It's a trading view. Alright, sorry for the moving around so much, but trading view is not cooperating too well right now. Alright, so yeah, I mean, I would look for that low. Obviously we came a little low, or a little off of that low. We actually went back to the previous session high there, which is from a displacement on a high. So maybe you got to think about that when you're targeting, but you should always, you know, if you're looking at this from here and saying, oh, we swept some kind of liquidity and then went down, you should have your trailing stops. You should be able to stop loss and profit there. Now this 5 o'clock candle, I think this is from the 5 o'clock candle. Okay, that's where it gets tricky, because the 5 o'clock candle is the candle that starts at 5, yeah? Goes from 5 to 5:15. So we did actually sweep lows from the previous session first, and then we put in a reversal. Look at that, strong. And what do we target? We would target this right here, and then we target this right here, and then we target this right here. And it gets it all. New York, what's it do? It's already on the run. And these are big runs here, guys. These are big, big runs. But I think the concept is pretty interesting to think about. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think at least could give you, when the conditions are right, and you see, you know, this isn't gonna, it doesn't look like it's gonna be something you can just use for turtle soups. But it could, once you have an entry, once you know that something is going in a certain direction, it could help you figure out where you want to put your targets, right? And that's where we lack here, looking at the 15-minute. It's hard to know where our entries are because they're probably lost in some of these candles, right? So we come down here, we take previous session, lunch session lows, and then we start rallying up. Now the reversal is going to happen sometime in there, and that's spot on, right? Because that's 2:30, 2:45, so right before 3, power hour, right? Right before 3. This is where you're looking for your entries. It happens here. What do you target? High from lunch. If we had a New York AM session high, you could continue the targeting up there, but that's all we really had. So you take that, and maybe you can do a little projection tool, which it does eventually get, but not the best on that one. Not the best on that. So we get highs, we get highs. Where are we going? We want to get lows. It leaves it. It leaves it. It's so interesting. I'm not sure why it leaves it. So we get highs here. We come down. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I wouldn't put too much weight on this. This is why we do the back testing. I mean, it's cool to see. I don't know if these sessions, breaking them up into such small chunks, would really make sense. I mean, it seems like it sometimes does make sense. But really, you're looking for the major liquidity levels. I don't know. Today seemed like a very convenient example, right? Makes me think ICT might be some kind of time traveler or something. He seems to put out videos the day before something happens that explains exactly what's gonna happen that upcoming day. Because this was a oops, I went to YM. This was a day where that session concept was pretty good. Now, I guess the difficult part is, yeah, it's not a difficult part, right? So this session grabbed this session low. Next target is that session high. It did it. It took 2 sessions and actually didn't do it until the 3rd one. But it finally did it. And then when it put in the reversal, you target the lows here. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good example of it. It just doesn't seem to work that easily most of the time. So let's look at this one. So this is Asia, London, New York lunch, PM. So we have Asia taking those highs, those lows, and the leftover lows from here. We have pre-market London taking these lows. Then first move of London is take the very, very recent lows and go up and take the very recent highs. Now I guess this is where order block theory might come in, because you might also say, well, these are order blocks here, right? Well, this one. So this was a shift or continuation of the structure. So it's not going to easily take those, even though they're previous session highs. We go for those highs, right? Low hanging fruit. I mean, that makes sense. But I think it's more of it grabbed this high and then grabbed that low. And then what does New York do? It grabs not even the low, but it does go low first. Very recent lows. Clears the highs, clears those leftover highs, and clears those leftover highs. Then we start chopping around a little bit. Lunch goes down, but doesn't grab any real liquidity. Comes back into order block, and we keep going up. And we take the leftover highs from lunch and leftover highs from New York. Then it's fizzling out. It's pretty much done, right? Now, the difficult part is the fizzle out is actually a pretty strong move, yeah? Actually a pretty strong move. Taking that level, that swing, took that out, then comes and takes the highs from there. That's all it needed. Asia, we go straight down. Don't even get the lows here, so we're still on the run, right? Okay, we get lows here. What happens next? We're still continuing runs through sessions, all right? So I guess we got to keep that in mind. We're going to have continuation of runs. But as soon as that happens, previous session, even though it's lasted many sessions, we go and get Very recent previous session, opposite direction. We're done. And we get very recent previous session lows. Does that include a leftover one down here? Almost. But doesn't need it. Goes back into consolidation. Consolidation. Very recent previous session high. Then goes down. Ah, man, that makes so much more sense now. I've always heard people talking about internal liquidity to external liquidity. I've heard that, and I'm sure it's in one of ICT's lessons. But that makes way more sense now. Before starting the move, so we're on another session, right? After London kill zone. This is like London lunch-ish afternoon, right? London lunch, let's say. London lunch grabs the very recent internal liquidity before starting its run to leftover external liquidities. Previous days, right? It even grabbed, no, that was already grabbed. So it just gets the first external liquidities, right? New York starts. What does it do? Very recent highs, very recent lows. Internal liquidity. It grabs them both. A little reset in action and a push up. This is shifting the structure back and we come back into it. So what are we going to target, right? We take the trade on here. Let's say this is a proper reversal entry point, which I think it was a little sketch. I don't think I went in on this one actually. But what are we going to target? We're going to target this. So we do bleed into lunch. We grab that. And then the next thing. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Because you say, well, when is that enough? When is that enough? We started the run in the same session. You know, it's really up to the market to show you that that's enough, right? But I think when we're talking about sweeping that liquidity, we also want to sweep this liquidity, even though it goes into multiple sessions. So we do have a low-hanging fruit target, sure. Internal liquidity, but sweep, we want to sweep this. So we go all the way up to that. We don't go to this, we just go to that. Because it doesn't want external right now. Right? Like that far. It's just getting the first one. And then we put in a reversal. So we've now swept the buy side of New York, the buy side of lunch, and the pre-market high. So what are we going to target? The buy side of, or sell side of lunch, sell side of New York, and external liquidity here and here. Like I said, today was a pretty good day to be looking at this. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a strategy. It's just, these are, I would say, a good way to target, right? You know, you definitely want to scale down your trades. And this can give you good levels to say, okay, 50% here, then 80% here, and then the final two we run for maybe a big external target, right? We got to keep in mind the higher time frame bias, for what liquidities are going to go. We got to keep in mind how long it's been since we've grabbed some liquidity. So yeah, just another little facet of the game. It's a tough game, guys. It's a tough fucking game. Anyone that tells you that this game of trading and pulling money from the market is so easy, so simple, they're fucking scammers, okay? Huge red flag. Huge red flag. No one that is truly successful with just trading the market would say it's an easy game. It's very hard to master the market because a lot of it has to do with yourself as well, right? You're mastering yourself. It's really like the ultimate fucking puzzle, right? So if you love problem solving, if you love analytics, figuring out, you know, using evidence to figure out things, it could be good for you, but you have to be in a good mind space. Consistency is very hard. But this could give you maybe a little more to your edge. I don't think this is a phenomenal game-changing thing. I'm glad I did a little back testing here, and I will continue to forward test this in my live trades. But yeah, it's not earth-shattering, is it? It's fine. Seems like it could be pretty good, especially for choppy conditions. Maybe swingy conditions is a better term. And, you know, maybe that's good because, honestly, the market, look at this. The market is generally in a swingy, choppy condition, yeah? Recently, the last couple years. Like, we go on runs, sure. But there's choppy here. There's, you know, consolidation periods, a choppy move down, a choppy move back up, and then a run. Then chop. So I think for a lot of these conditions, this will be very valuable. These runs obviously leave a lot to come back to, but you're going to come back to it. So it's just stacking them up. Right, stacking the levels of liquidity up to return to. Let's see, we've been going for an hour and a half. I think that's pretty good for tonight, for a nice Friday night backtesting session. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you watched, I hope you learned a little something. Yeah, like I said, I think it's something to be aware of. Feel free to do your own research on sessions, and you know, these are the ones ICT laid out, so these are the ones I'm looking at. But I think you could also say that the New York session is 8:30 to noon. Let's see. Yeah, I kept calling it London Kill Zone. London Kill Zone's actually like New York AM session, right? ICT session times. So I'm gonna look this up again. ICT time theory. 3-bar swing, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm trying to look this up, guys. Different time frames. Kill zones. Okay, so let's see what this says for the different kill zones. So London open 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Interesting. Killzone New York open 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Interesting. Asian range 8:15 to midnight. Once again, interesting. And London closed 10 to noon. And once again, interesting. So I'm just looking at some other definitions. And it's really funny. I feel like there's a lot of people that have different times. All right. Well, I'll play around with other time periods. These are from ICT's most recent video, other than the Asian one. So I'll scour his material again and try to lock these down even more, but you get the idea. The draws on liquidity is important. It's really the most important thing, is to know where we're going. It's really the most important thing. Getting your perfect entry is great. Knowing when there's a shift is very important as well. But you got to know where to go, where you're going to. You got to know when to take off partials, right? What's a high probability and what's a low probability target. So it takes time, experience, but also backtesting. So that's what we're doing. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your evening and enjoy your weekend. And hope to see you trading Monday. All right. Take care.